Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we are going to be talking about Ripple and XRP. And I'm going to be utilizing all of my tweets in this video. I did outline a large rabbit hole connection to the UK with Ripple. I've gone down it, and it's a deep hole. And I want you guys to understand right now that this video might be a little longer than expected, but I do think that it really kind of will show you the connections here back to Ripple and how big of an opportunity we have in front of us. Or at least I hope it does, right? So with that being said, definitely go follow me over on Twitter if you haven't already. For those out there that don't use Twitter, that's okay. Like I said, I will be going over these tweets in this video. At @NCashOfficial is my @. With that, let's start off with this post back in July. This was July 6th. This did not get a lot of attention. 7,200 views. For some people, that might seem like a lot, but for most of these tweets, like, you'd be surprised on how many views some of those tweets get. But usually the ones that get a lot of attention are the ones, you know, talking about price predictions, stuff like that. This tweet was significant because I was talking about how it all starts in London. See, right now, yes, we are gearing up for a massive reset of the entire system, but it seems as though the UK has been the chosen one. I think that that's why we are starting to see a lot of developments happening in the UK around digitalized payments, digitalized trade finance, things like that. It seems as though it's the starting point for everything. And I said, remember the saying, it all starts in London, because London is like the key area in the UK. And I did say Ripple has had long-term connections / partnerships with giant payment infrastructures like Finastra forever. All leading back to thousands of banks and financial institutions. They have been focused on London forever, and with the recent bills / moves coming from the UK, I'd say they are more than ready. Through documents, it's confirmed that XRP is being utilized by banks, but not nearly as much as you'd think. These types of connections and partnerships matter greatly it confirms that Ripple combined with XRP is already connected and ready to go live with scale when the infrastructure / regulations are in place. And we already know that the infrastructure is being upgraded to accommodate for this technology. We know that regulations, they're talking about the end of 2025, could happen much sooner, but the end of 2025 is like the key time frame to look forward to in terms of a global regulatory framework. Now, I did say the SEC case shook many out of XRP, but time will be the biggest factor around shaking as many out as possible. The infrastructure and regulatory frameworks are in progress. We know this from many documents. It's only a matter of time before we start seeing bigger integrations happening and systems going live. We could be months away, but we are probably years away, just being realistic. Focus on the end goal here. This is the largest technology innovation in history. An entirely new financial infrastructure is being created. These are innovations that will shake the system to its core and bring about an entirely new set of efficiencies like no other. This asset class is still in its infancy. I strongly believe that crypto will become a $100 trillion asset class in the future. I'm prepared for the journey ahead. And here you guys have, you know, back in 2019, when Ripple did announce that they were partnering with Finastra, this was London, October 9th, 2019. Ripple, the enterprise blockchain solution for global payments, and Finastra have teamed up to offer Ripple's blockchain technology through Finastra's payment solutions to support fast cross-border payments. And then also over here, sorry, this Twitter has been like weird today, but this is just more so talking about the 8,100 financial institutions that are, you know, tied back to Finastra. And then down here, we do see the Finastra Ripple fact sheet. This is managed cross-border payments easier with RippleNet via Fusion Total Messaging, which is also very significant considering the fact that this is all through the RippleNet cloud, the same technology that is connected to Volante, which Volante is moving trillions of dollars per day. It's also the same RippleNet cloud that's tied to almost all of the institutional clients that are tied back to Ripple. And then, of course, we do see here from April of this year, Stuart Alderati says Ripple expanding business in London, slams the SEC. So yeah, it seems as though they are expanding rapidly within the UK. And then the tweet that really kind of blew up over on Twitter, almost 106,000 views. So this is me going down the rabbit hole of the Bank of England and Ripple POC from over 6 years ago. It means nothing today. It's 6 years old. This is the quote that everyone continues to tell me. Oh, it's too old. These documents mean nothing. They're old documents. They're useless. I said, this is what most will think, but the truth is that ISO 20022 originally launched in 2004. These things take time. So let's dive in. So the original proof of concept was July of 2017. This was 6 years ago, and it explored some great things around the real-time gross settlement system. The full focus was on synchronization between two different real-time gross settlement systems with two different currencies, as they do mention within this entire proof of concept breakdown. Now, I did say, now once you open the actual PDF document, this is where things become a little more interesting. They had detailed key objectives, and one is, of course, responding to the lack of liquidity when making payments. This is a significant objective, and you may ask why. For those out there that understand it and get it, obviously you get it. But here is the actual quote. Determining whether the interledger protocol could provide a suitable technical solution to the scenario. Exploring situations in which the synchronized settlement process should not complete, for example, where there is a lack of available liquidity to make a payment, and to understand potential ways of responding, and building understanding of the technical challenges associated with both synchronization and the interledger protocol. Now, down here, we do see it's significant because at the bottom of the document, it confirms that the Bank of England and Ripple will continue to explore liquidity solutions. You will be hearing / seeing liquidity being brought up quite a bit going forward. And here you guys have that this entire solution around Ripple, they successfully integrated the Ripple solution with two simulated RTGS systems hosted in the cloud. Again, going back to the Finastra document, this is all through the RippleNet cloud. And demonstrated that we could process a successful cross-border payment across two RTGS systems simultaneously. We also demonstrated that an attempted cross-border payment that failed validation on the receiving side would not be honored. And then down here, cross-border payments when applied to wholesale markets present different challenges than that compared with the retail and corporate transactions, which the Ripple product is designed to handle. The availability of liquidity is one such challenge, and the POC allowed the bank and Ripple to begin exploring these questions. Now down here, I said, here's the consultation paper posted in 2022, April 29th, regarding the roadmap for RTGS 2024 plans. Now look at the second image of what they are fully focused on. Is this where Quant Network comes into play mixed with Ripple? APIs, synchronization, liquidity generation. And here you guys have roadmap for real-time gross settlement service beyond 2024. Over here, you have existing RTGS participants, new ways to connect, maintaining and enhancing RTGS resiliency, and also extending the operating hours. Then new services such as synchronization, new ways to generate intraday liquidity, or APIs. Now, of course, I went over these documents in a recent video, but now is where things get a little bit more interesting as I did dive a little bit deeper. So these are their plans to address liquidity generation. This is very interesting at a time where we do have the Ripple Liquidity Hub launching, which could 100% include XRP now that it's cleared. XRP is showcased as one of the most liquid assets in this space. And you guys have new liquidity bridges with the RTGS systems and other currencies. Also down here for liquidity bridges, please specify which currencies you would like the bank to explore for further liquidity bridges. Is your organization interested in using reciprocal liquidity bridges, i.e. also use your liquidity in RTGS to generate liquidity in other currencies? If so, in which currencies? And then down here, now is when things get pretty wild. This screenshot includes a section on why liquidity is so important, kind of self-explanatory, but look at the wording. Liquidity bridges can release trapped liquidity capital and reduce the funding cost of cross-border payments. That's their direct quote. I said it's also interesting that this is coming from the FSB. Why? Look at the tweet I made regarding the connections to the FSB with Ripple. They literally let Ripple comment on the global crypto regulatory framework while in the middle of the lawsuit. And this is from the FSB's roadmap that they're literally noting liquidity bridges can release trapped liquidity, or if you will, capital, and reduce the funding cost of cross-border payments. Who continues to really focus on that? It's the exact same wording as Ripple. And here are all the connections back to the FSB. I've talked about this. This is Brad Garlinghouse talking about level the playing field through a single national regulatory framework, aka a global regulatory framework, which we know the FSB is working on with the IMF and the BIS with the G20. This is to be released in September in terms of the actual framework, and they are implementing it by the end of 2025. And all of these major connections back to Ripple are very significant around the regulation side of things, because now we know if they are working with the regulators and they're working on a global crypto regulatory framework with the FSB, what else are they working on? Probably implementation of this technology to help alleviate the pain points. And here we have, now let's focus and explore the paper from February of this year. The new core RTGS platform is launching in 2024, summer into November of 2024. This system settles over $950 billion and at times upwards of $1.2 trillion per day. And here you guys have the overall paper. And then over here, they're talking about how much money they do move, but also in the light of the rapidly changing payments landscape, we were keen to understand the industry's views on what innovative features they would like the Bank of England to focus on following the introduction of the new core RTGS settlement engine in 2024. And then down here, in addition to being very resilient, the new settlement engine has been designed to be modular and flexible, which will allow the bank to introduce enhancements more quickly and easily to meet the changing needs of the industry. Meaning, guess what? We are ushering into the new age of payments and payment infrastructure technology. And I said further down in the article, we are seeing the FSB being referenced yet again for their October 2020 research on enhancing cross-border payments. Again, key words: cheaper, faster, and safer, which is on par with with what Ripple is doing. I also included the FSB's report wording, and here you guys have these priority features, if delivered in the future, would help not only to enhance domestic payments, but would also support achieving the Financial Stability Board's roadmap for enhancing cross-border payments through making them cheaper, faster, and safer globally. Over here you have from the FSB, this is October of 2020. They're quoting a 2020 article, 3 years down the line. Faster, cheaper, more transparent, and more inclusive cross-border payment services, including remittances, while maintaining their safety and security, would have widespread benefits for citizens and economies worldwide, supporting economic growth, international trade, global development, and financial inclusion. These challenges, namely high cost, low speed, limited access, and insufficient transparency, affect end users and service providers, though not all in the same way. Individuals and small companies face particular challenges with retail cross-border payments, and financial inclusion remains a challenge for many, especially in emerging market and developing economies. The unbanked and individuals and firms from fragile states are amongst those who may not be able to access payment services at all. The roadmap has been developed by the FSB in coordination with the CPMI, the Committee on Payments and Market Infrastructure. Why is that group important? I'm going to talk to you guys about it in a second, and other relevant international organizations and standard-setting bodies. So all of this is focused on cross-border payments, making them as efficient as possible. The wording is right on par with Ripple's. Down here, even in the FSB's report, the wording reads as if Ripple is writing the article. This is in coordination with the CPMI. Who are the institutions included on the CPMI? Let's take a look. How many of these names are tied back to Ripple? I can name a few, and here you guys have all of the institutions that are on par with the CPMI. And by the way, when you look at this, almost all of these names have some sort of exposure to Ripple. For an example, recently, the Monetary Authority of Singapore granted Ripple their payment license. The Hong Kong Monetary Authority is working with Ripple right now on tokenization of real estate, and also they're working with them on advancing CBDC initiatives. There's a lot of other major banks on here as well. Going back to the Bank of England document, here are some great insights on the payment revolution happening. Again, focusing on the RTGS API platform with synchronization and reducing current frictions in cross-border payments. Cough, cough, Ripple and XRP. Here you guys have the migration to ISO 20022 messaging, and delivery of a new core settlement engine will give us the platform to continue to innovate. We intend to enhance the renewed RTGS service further and to introduce changes that could enable participants to offer cheaper, faster, and safer payments to their customers. Down here, you could see the benefits. Now through this, you are seeing reducing the current frictions in cross-border payments, and it's all focused on synchronization as well. Ripple already solved synchronization with the Bank of England. Now, As we do see down here, we also get introduced to their RCBDC plans, retail CBDC. Again, frictions in settlement mentioned, atomicity, atomic settlement, and various other benefits. When they mention DLT POCs, Ripple gets highlighted here. 2023, 6 years ago, is not too long ago, I guess, right? Like everyone keeps saying, oh, it's 6 years ago. It doesn't mean anything today. Well, now you have the Bank of England literally mentioning it and referencing the Ripple POC. But here you guys have the efficiencies. This is wholesale central bank digital currency. This is around an RCBDC as well. Again, it's kind of right on par with the wholesale CBDC side of things too. But here you guys have minimizing frictions in delivery of wholesale settlement. They're talking about 24/7 basis. They're talking about atomic settlement as well. And then on the second slide here, we do see cross-border synchronization, a joint project with Ripple demonstrating that synchronized FX transactions in two different simulated RTGS systems can be achieved, leading to the incorporation of synchronization functionality into the roadmap for RTGS renewal. By the way, the significance of FX transactions, foreign exchange, is the fact that the UK is the largest mover of FX transactions. This is a $7 trillion per day market. And this is all focused on DLT initiatives as well. They're talking about DLT and other innovative technologies. And then also on the last slide here, we do see delivering atomicity by allowing third parties, including those using DLT, to coordinate transactions between RTGS and other ledgers. We continue to explore this via Project Meridian, a joint initiative with the BIS Innovation Hub London Center, which is prototyping and testing the end-to-end flow of synchronized settlement. Wild. Now, here's box B. It addresses improved cross-border payments. Major year mention is 2027. For this to really ramp up in terms of innovation. Things are starting to align with this. We know the G20 instructed the FSB with global crypto regulations by the end of 2025. So now it looks like 2027, they are really tackling the frictions in cross-border payments, as you guys do see them saying right here. And again, there's that wording yet again, literally quoting, if you will, Ripple. And they're also talking about in 2020, work on the cross-border payments has been organized around the international roadmap, comprised of 19 building blocks. The CPMI, the FSB, and other international bodies have largely completed the stock taking and analysis stage of the roadmap. And again, we know that Ripple has exposure to both of these organizations, and this is a massive market. And it seems as though they are trying to enhance cross-border payments as fast as possible. 2027 seems like the full focus year. I know that that is 4 years away, but I don't think that we need to wait 4 years to see incredible growth around XRP and even Ripple. And then I said, now we get a much more in-depth view into the priority areas and the groups assisting in this development. The FSB, the CPMI, the IMF, and the World Bank all have ties back to Ripple, and XRP also comes up in many IMF and World Bank documents. Here you guys have payment system interoperability and extension, legal, regulatory, and supervisory frameworks, cross-border data exchange and messaging standards, and then down here you have them working with the IMF, the World Bank, with the CPMI, and of course the FSB. Very interesting, because they all connect back to Ripple. They all connect back to Stellar as well. Stellar is mentioned on those IMF and World Bank documents. But then also here, I missed this one. Enhancing cross-border payments requires close public-private collaboration. 100% confirming that the public and private sector are working together. Ripple is a private sector player. To this end, the FSB and the CPMI intend to establish in 2023 Q1 2 new industry task force to facilitate regular engagement between public authorities and senior representatives from the payment industry. And then also down here, it seems as though this major innovation will begin in the UK with the central bank, Bank of England. With all the connections back to Ripple and XRP, it's hard to imagine they won't be a part of this initiative or innovation. And here you guys have the moves being made. It's more so talking about 2024. This is all around the RTGS renewal program. And then also down here, key timeline to follow is the summer of 2024 into November of 2024 for this new RTGS system to go fully live. Everything is coming together for the UK to usher into the digital age of finance. Still think these Ripple documents are too old to consider being a big deal. And again, like 2024 seems like it's a big year. But this, like, once the UK goes live with this, it's game over. They're focused on atomic settlement. Remember what I said about atomic settlement. One bank, one central bank achieves atomic settlement, it's game over. Now, also, I said over here, all right, so this just got a little crazier. And I'm quoting this breakdown thread. I found this article mentioning that the BIS is utilizing the CPMI, the same group mentioned later in this thread. Remember what I mentioned about the CPMI. They will work on harmonization of API protocols to contribute to the G20 cross-border payments program. We know just recently that Quant Q&T collaborated with the BIS and the Bank of England on API use cases for a retail CBDC. The CPMI has major connections to Ripple, and we know efficient cross-border payments is their full focus point using XRP. And here we also know that Quant and Ripple are both experimenting with the Digital Pound Foundation and exploring the benefits of a digital pound. Now, we do know that this is a think tank organization, but it's still significant to mention. They both have worked with / collaborated with the Bank of England. The G20 confirmed we will have global crypto regulations by 2025. It's all aligning perfectly for utility to take over and for the world to integrate blockchain and DLT. Focus on the utility giants. The world is catching up. Are you ready? And here we have, this is May 30th, 2023. The BIS establishes API Protocol Committee for Cross-Border Payments. The BIS Committee on Payments and Market Infrastructures announced it's establishing an experts panel on the harmonization of application programming interface, API protocols, to contribute to the G20 cross-border payments program. And then over here, we do see the BIS, Quant, and Bank of England release results from Project Rosalind, an experiment exploring the use of APIs for retail central bank digital currency. We know that Quant connects to almost all major blockchains, including Ripple and XRP, or I should say the XRP ledger. But Ripple can benefit from Quant having that API plug and play because it means all DLTs can have access through Quant. All of these use cases connected through Quant. Like, this is a game changer. But all of this is so significant to mention because we know that Ripple has been working within the UK forever. We know that Ripple has been experimenting in the UK as well with the Bank of England, the central bank of the UK. And with all of this information, it is absolutely crazy to know what's happening. It's crazy. And most people will look at these documents and say, oh, they're too old. They're too old. They don't mean anything. But the Bank of England is literally referencing those 6-year documents. When something is confirmed to work and solve the problems, you cannot write that off. Even if it's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years old, it has still solved a significant problem. This is huge. And the revolution is upon us. Things are happening very fast. Within the next, give or take, like 2 to 4 years, this space is going to look extremely different. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. Others, it's up to you all. Have a beautiful day or beautiful night. Wherever you guys are on this video, this has been Nick. Peace out, guys.